Yes, this is for chemical reactions, right? So
Yeah.
chemical reactions of alcohols and phenols, right? So here the alcohols is this thing, right? Here two types of cleavage is possible. This is nothing but I'm taking the simple alcohol, methyl alcohol. The cleavage can happen here. That means OH bond cleavage or CO bond cleavage. Two types of cleavage. If OH bond cleavage is occurring, means if the bond between O and H is breaking, then it acts as what? It acts as a nucleophile. It acts as a nucleophile. If the bond between C and O is breaking, that means R and O is breaking, then it acts as an electrophile. I'll show you how. See, if it is acting as a nucleophile, that means OH bond is breaking, right? So this ROH, this reacts with carbocation, because I said this is acting as a nucleophile, right? So the lone pair of electrons on the oxygen, now this act as a nucleophile, attack on this electrophile, result in the formation of an something like this. Yes. This is what now here H is there. So positive charge on this, right? Next step, this H plus is lost. So overall reaction, what is happening here? See, it is OH bond cleavage is occurring, right? This bond is getting cleaved, H is lost, right? So what it is acting as? It is acting as a nucleophile, right? There are two types of reactions here. One is involving the OH bond cleavage and the others involving the CO bond cleavage. These are the first type of reaction where it is acting as a nucleophile, that means OH bond cleavage is occurring. And there are second type of reactions where CO bond cleavage is occurring. So when it undergo this CO bond cleavage means protonated alcohols, means first this gets protonated, resulting in the formation of, this is getting what? Protonated. And then it acts as an electrophile. That means what? The now Br minus, the nucleophile, can attack on this carbon atom now. Okay, this carbon atom it attacks. This is CH2, right? So this OH2 is lost, water. So what do you get here? RCH2 Br plus what? Water. So what bond is getting cleaved here? Did you observe? CH2O bond. That means this one.
OH.
CO bond.
Okay.
CO bond. So this is what? Electrophile. So protonated alcohols. The alcohol first get protonated. This is called as protonated alcohol. Then it acts as or behaves as protonated electrophile. Right? It is acting as an electrophile with a plus charge on it. So the nucleophile, Br minus is a nucleophile. This is attacking on this electrophile. Right? This is what is it. These two types of cleavage. What are those two types of cleavage? One is OH bond cleavage. The other is CO bond cleavage. If it is acting as a nucleophile, OH bond cleavage is occurring. If it is acting as an electrophile, CO bond cleavage is occurring. Okay, let's look at the types of reactions involved with each types of cleavage here. Okay, done. Okay. Right. Here, first is what? Reactions involving
cleavage of OH bond.
CO bond cleavage. OH bond, sorry, not CO. OH bond cleavage.
Oh, yes.
Right? See, if it is OH bond cleavage is occurring, what is happening? It's giving H plus, right? What is this H plus for? H plus, giving H plus means what? It is acidic. So what are acids able to give H plus? right? If they're able to give H plus, those are called
Yes.
acids or acidic in nature. So if I'm taking, for suppose, alcohol, it can react with metals, any metal, sodium, potassium, or aluminum. I'll show you the reactions. What will happen? Sodium alkoxide is being formed, right? Plus hydrogen gas is evolved. With the metals, always hydrogen gas is evolved. So, right now, if I said with aluminium also, I'll show you the reaction. I'll take aluminium tertiary butoxide and then I'll show you the reaction. Okay, first take tertiary butyl alcohol reacting with what? Aluminium. So what will I get? Aluminium is 3 plus. So this will be 3 times here. O taken how many times? 3 times. Right? This is Al. Plus again H2. So just balance the reaction. So 3 times, I think this will be, yes, 6 times, right? This is 6, this is 2, this is 2, 3. Done? Balanced? Right. So this is what? Aluminium tertiary butoxide. Yes. Butoxide, aluminium tertiary butoxide. This is sodium alkoxide. So this will be aluminium alkoxide. Give it as a name. What is this alkoxide? Butoxide. What butoxide? Tertiary butoxide. So this will be aluminium tertiary butoxide. So with phenols also, I'll show you the reaction, how this is happening. This is phenols. Also, this is alcohols, right? This is phenols. Also react with sodium metal to give you the same reaction. What will you get here? ONA. Sodium phenoxide plus H2. Okay. Now, this phenols, in addition to this, phenols can also react with sodium hydroxide. Phenols plus sodium hydroxide will give you same sodium phenoxide. So there it was sodium alkoxide because alkyl groups. Here what? Phenol. So I'm calling it as what? Sodium phenoxide plus water. What is this? Sodium phenoxide.
Sodium phenoxide.
So in all these reactions, what did you observe? In all these reactions, H plus is being evolved, right? So alcohols and phenols, because they are able to give the H plus, they are acidic in nature. I said, if they're able to give H plus, what? They're acidic in nature. What acids? Bronsted acids, which are able to donate H plus are called as what? Bronsted acids. Able to take H plus, Bronsted bases. Right? Donate proton or what? Bronsted acids. If this donated proton are taken by something else, they are called as Bronsted bases. Right? So from the above reactions, what did you infer? They're acidic in nature. So if I'm reacting with a strong base, a generalized reaction, this alcohols, what do you get? This H plus is lost to this base plus OR minus, alkoxide ion we are getting, right? Yeah. This is what? Base. This is acid. This will be conjugate acid. This will be conjugate base. Right? Understood? Okay. Fine. Yeah. So from all these reactions, we inferred what? As alcohols and phenols, both are acidic in nature. So when we compare the acidity of alcohols, when we compare the what? Acidity of alcohols, I'm taking primary, secondary, and tertiary. Which do you think are more acidic? Primary, secondary, or tertiary? Okay, CH, right? Yeah. Think and tell. CH, OH. This is secondary. Now this is tertiary, right? Which is more acidic and why? Okay. So in all these, I say that, yeah, primary or more acidic than secondary than tertiary. Why? Because see, why they are acidic? Because they're able to give H plus, right? So when they are able to give this H plus, when OH bond is more polar. More polar means this is able to draw the electrons more closer towards it, and this can give off H plus. When it is becomes more polar, when see R is what? Electron donating group. That means it will increase electron density on the oxygen. If it is already has so much of electron density from this alkyl group, why will it take the more electrons from this hydrogen? See, if there are more number of alkyl groups like here, so more electron density on the carbon, it is, full of food now, full of electrons. Why will it have to take them? This oxygen also now will have what? Electrons pushed little here.
More
So this one. So now this, now it reluctant to take, reluctant to be taking the electrons from the hydrogen. No doubt this is more electronegative. This will definitely, this bond pair will be more closer towards it. But it has electrons from all this, right? When compared to that of the primary, so this will be less polar. This is polar, but this is less polar when compared to that of the primary. Right? See, if it has electrons from all this, why will it give H plus? It has to take the electrons. If it has to give the H plus, what it has to take? It should pull the bond pair totally towards it. When it will be more easy here in the primary, because only one electron donating. Here 2, here 3. So which is more polar in this case? Primary. That is why primary is more acidic than secondary than tertiary. Right? Yeah. This is explanation why primary is more acidic than secondary than tertiary. Yes. Next topic. Right. Now, compare the acidity of water and alcohols. Which is more acidic? Right. See, I'll show you one reaction. From this reaction, you can infer which is more acidic. From this reaction, what are you getting? This alkoxide ion, this water is giving away what? This is acting as an acid now. This is acting as a base. So water is giving away proton to alkoxide ion. So where is the equilibrium now? Shifting towards the right side. This is what? Conjugate acid, conjugate base. So from this reaction, what can you infer? The water is more acidic than alcohol, because this, in this case, the reaction is proceeding what? Forward direction, not the backward direction. So which is more acidic? The one which is giving more H plus. In the above reaction, which is giving H plus here? Water. So water is giving water is giving H plus to alkoxide ion, resulting in the formation of alcohol and hydroxide ion. So from the above reaction, we can infer that water is more acidic than alcohol. This is the acidity order. If alcohols were more acidic, this should have given the proton and the backward reaction should have taken place. Right? But the reaction which is observed is this thing. So from the above reaction, water is more acidic. And which is more basic? Alkoxide or OH minus? More acidic. More basic means was able to accept the proton. Which is, because this is accepting a proton from here. So what is it? OR minus is more basic. I'm talking about basicity here. OH minus. OR minus means what? OET minus, OCH3 minus, anything. So this is what? Ethoxide. This can be sodium ethoxide, anything, sodium. Okay. So ethoxide ion or alkoxide ion is more basic than what? Hydroxide ion. Right. These two things we can infer from this reaction. Right. Now come to the acidity of phenols. Which is more acidic, phenols or alcohols? Let's see those reactions now. See, for alcohols, when it is acidic, when it is giving off H plus. Right? It is giving off H plus. When phenols are acidic, if it is able to give H plus. Right? So the acidity now is based on the ease at which they are able to give the H plus, which is giving away H plus easily. That is more acidic, right? Understood the concept? If this is able to give the H plus easily, this is more acidic. If this is able to give the H plus easily, that is more acidic. So we should find out now which is able to give the H plus easily. So if you look at the alkoxide ion here, it is not resonance stabilized. This is what? No resonance stabilization here.
Yes, ma'am.
But here phenoxide resonance stabilization is possible. What resonance stabilization is possible? So here, if it has to proceed in the forward direction, which is more stable here, since phenoxide ion is more stable than alkoxide ion, definitely the reaction in the second case will proceed in the forward reaction, forward direction than in the first case. Because we know that phenoxide ion is more stable than alkoxide ion. Since phenoxide ion is more stable, this can easily give away H plus, form the more stable phenoxide ion and give H plus here. But alkoxide, it's not that stable as phenoxide because there is no resonance stabilization. So it doesn't matter if it gives the H plus or doesn't give the H plus. Even if it is in the form of alcohol or in the form of alkoxide. Not much, but here it makes a lot of difference because here it want to whichever is the case, they want to be in the more stable form, right? So here it want to be in the phenoxide form because phenoxide is more stable. That is why it will give away the H plus, get into the more stable phenoxide form. Right? Understood? Which is more acidic now? Phenols or alcohols? Which is able to give the H plus easily? Phenols, yes, understood, right? No problem. See, phenoxide is more stable, means it is able to give the H plus easily. Which is able to give the H plus easily, that is more acidic. Here, why the disturbance more? Okay, fine. Oh. Now, which is more stable? Since phenoxide is more stable, phenols are more acidic than alcohols. Done? Hello?
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah, finished.
Yes,
I think understood. So next, I can
hear you, ma'am.
next. So one more thing here. Phenols can also exhibit resonance. Phenoxide is also exhibiting resonance, but phenoxide resonance structures are more stable than phenol resonance structures. I'll show you that also. Okay, no doubt phenol will also exhibit resonance. Okay, so I'll show you the resonance structures here. First for phenol we'll see, then for phenoxide. Okay.
Okay.
Write it neatly. Okay, this one is what? Yeah. Phenols. This is phenol, right? These are what? Electron donating groups. So they will donate the electrons towards the ring. So here the resonance possible is this thing. This is minus, this is double bond OH plus. Practice the resonance structures. So what do you get again here? Negative here, double bond O plus. Okay, next again. Negative, double bond O, H, back. This positive charge on this. What do you get? Phenol got back. See, in all, I'll show you the resonance structures for phenoxide ion. Phenoxide ion means what? O minus, 3 lone pair of electrons. So one, it will give a resonance. So what will happen? There is no positive charge on oxygen now because already the negative charge, right? Done. This is negative.
Yes.
This is negative. So what is the difference in between the resonance structures of phenol and phenoxide? I gave you the hint also. See, in these,
there is
there-
no H. There is just H is donating.
okay, but there is C, positive, negative charge, positive, negative charge, positive, negative. But here, only negative charge, no positive charge here. That means there is charge separation in this. Right? Here there is charge delocalization.
Okay.
There is no charge, there is charge delocalization here also, but there is a separation of the charges. We know that the resonance structures with the charge separation are less stable than the resonance structures without the charge separation. Here, positive and negative charge are being separated. This is called as charge separation. Two charges we are seeing, but here only one charge, and it's delocalized over the entire structure here. So we know that the resonance structures with the charge separation are less stable. That means phenol resonance structures are less stable than what? Phenoxide resonance structures. That is why they want to give away the H plus and form the more stable phenoxide ion. That is why phenols are more acidic than what? Alcohols.
Okay.
Phenols are more acidic than what? Alcohols. And for alkoxide acid, there is no resonance structures which are possible. Right? So this is how we explain the what? Acidity of phenols and alcohols. Now, look at the resonance. I mean, look at the acidity of substituted phenols. How the substituent will affect acidity of phenols. If suppose I am introducing this nitro group at ortho and para positions. So this nitro group, what is this nitro group? Electron withdrawing group. That means they will withdraw the electron density from the ring. I showed you this resonance structures in some other this thing also. I think haloalkanes, right? Yeah. Now, if you look at the resonance structures of phenoxide ion, where is the charge here? Negative charge. Where is the negative charge? Ortho and para positions, right? Ortho, para, ortho. So if I introduce the electron withdrawing group at NO2, it will stabilize the resonance structures more by delocalizing this charge more. So it will share the charge. It should share the negative charge if this group is present at ortho and para positions. That means it making what? OH bond more polar. What is happening? See, if I'm taking away the electron density from this, taking away, pumping out, what happens to this OH bond? So this will in turn will give into the ring. This one will take in turn from the H plus. What is happening now? It can give off H plus easily because there is becoming more polar. Understood? So if electron withdrawing groups are present at what positions? Ortho and para positions, they are more acidic because OH bond is becoming more polar. Because of what? OH bond is getting more polar.
More polar.
Then, yes. But it doesn't have much effect if it is present at the meta position. But it is still more acidic than normal phenols, but less acidic than ortho and para nitrophenols. Then, so I'll show you the, yes. So now what can we infer? Ortho and para nitrophenols are more acidic than meta nitrophenols, which is more acidic than what? Phenols. Then OH, NO2. OH, NO2. So ortho and para actually from the information, it is paranitrophenol. We should come first, then this one. Little acidic. Try the distance more. Yes. This one is what? Para. This one is ortho. This is more acidic, little, very little difference. Then metanitrophenols. Then comes what? Phenols, normal phenols.
Okay.
So pK values are given for this. I'll give you the pK values. Then pK is inversely proportional to the acidity. You know this, right?
Yes, ma'am.
This is 10. This is 7.1, 7.2. There's not much difference. See, I said that's why I said ortho and paranitropenols don't both come in order, right? So paranitrophenol is more acidic than ortho, then comes meta, then comes normal phenol. Now, if I have the CH3, what is CH3? Electron donating group. That means I'm pumping the electrons into the ring. How does it affect the polarity? I mean, polarity and the acidity. What happens to the acidity? This is called as cresol. See, if I'm pumping more electron density in the ring, so this oxygen becomes full of electrons. It is, I mean, belly full of electrons. It doesn't want to give this H plus so easily. OH bond is becoming less polar. That means less acidic. Done? So these are less acidic than what? Cresols. Huh?
Less acidic.
Less acidic. Right. Cresols. Okay, done. First comes meta. Huh? Then comes ortho and para. Huh? Yes, ma? I'm not getting you. I think your voice is breaking.
Phenol.
Okay, fine. So
Phenols, ma'am.
phenols.
Okay.
Okay, I'll write it neatly.
Okay, ma'am. Nothing, ma'am. I didn't say anything.
Okay, fine. So this then comes what? Meta. Because, yeah, then comes what? Ortho and para. Same thing. Ortho and para, almost same. Then comes alcohols. Then, because phenols are more acidic than alcohols. I'll give you the values also, right? The value for meta is 10.1. This is 10.2, both of them. This is 15.9. See how less acidic these alcohols are. These are what? pK values.
Sorry, ma'am. I was disconnected. Actually, I was disconnected for 2 minutes.
Okay, you want me to explain again? Okay, fine. So what is happening here?
Yeah, ma'am. That's
Understood, or you want the explanation again?
the last 2 minutes, the pKa value alone, ma'am.
Okay, pK value. I said the pK values of alcohols, I mean phenols is 10. Then comes meta, that is cresols. These are all. Metacresol, orthocresol, paracresol. 10.1. These two are same, 10.2. Last comes alcohols. 15.9. See how less acidic these alcohols are when compared to that of the phenols. Million times, right?
Yes.
So this is what? Comparing the acidity of alcohols and phenols with electron withdrawing and yeah, done. Okay. Yes. Next one, esterification reactions.
Yes.
Okay, so esterification means what? Formation of esters, right? So first alcohols are phenols. So I'm representing a phenol ring by AR. I mean the benzene ring means AR. So this can be ROH or AROH. So I'll write OROH here. This will be, yeah. I'm reacting this with what? Acid. So what do I get? The presence of acid. Ester. ROCOR dash. Right? ROCOR dash. H and OH have been removed. Okay. RO, this OH lost, minus water. So plus water. This is with what? Acids. If I'm carrying out the reaction with the acid anhydrides, so R dash CO taken twice O. Again in the presence of acid. So the same ROCOR dash plus R dash acid I'll get. Both these cases I'm getting what? Esters. And if I'm doing the reaction with the acyl halides, that is chlorides, acid chlorides. So I'm carrying out the reaction with pyridine here, not acid, because the side product which is formed here will be ROCOR dash HCl. So in order to remove the HCl which is formed, in order to neutralize the HCl which is formed, we are using the base, that is the pyridine here. Yes, ma? Yes?
No, ma'am, I asked pyridine is base or not?
Yeah, base. Right. So in order to neutralize this acid, I'm adding what? Pyridine. So that the equilibrium shifts towards the right-hand side. So that I'll get more of ester. Right? Right. This is the
Yes,
reactions of what? The formation of the esters. So it can be what? AR also. Instead of R, I can, so since I'm using AR here, so AR also I can. Right? Right. Done. So these are the esterification reactions. So one esterification reactions, I'll show you one useful esterification reaction. So this is OH, right? So with anhydride, acetic anhydride, in the presence of acid. So what do I get here? Yes, tell me. H is replaced by what? OCOCH3 plus acid, this reaction, see, second one. Right? So what is this? This is called as aspirin. Aspirin. This is what is aspirin we eat. Okay, acetyl salicylic acid. This is what? Salicylic acid. OH and COH is called salicylic acid, but I'm substituting H with COH3, so it is called as an acetyl. Acetyl salicylic acid. Done. Okay, this is what? The reactions which are involving CO bond cleavage, OH bond cleavage, sorry. Yes, so next one. Next type of reactions are what? The reactions involving CO bond cleavage. The first type of reactions we have read, that means it is acting as what? Nucleophile. Now reactions involving what? CO bond cleavage. Okay, so what it is acting as? Electrophile. I said this, I've discussed this already. So this one, yeah. So first one is reaction with, we have read these reactions already, hydrogen halides in previous chapter, alkyl halides. So reaction of alcohols, preparation of alkyl halides, we read this. What do you get? RX, alkyl halide, this bond is broken, plus water, right? We have read this primary, secondary, and tertiary. Lucas reagent, do you remember? HCl plus zinc Cl2 is
Yes,
called as what? Lucas reagent. The test, Lucas test. Tertiary gives
Yes.
immediately. Secondary after 5 to 10 minutes. This is immediately. And primary gives no reaction at room temperature. Maybe if you heat, the reaction is possible. This is formed as what? Precipitate. No reaction at room temperature.
Okay.
This is a differentiation reaction for to differentiate primary, secondary, and tertiary alcohols in the lab. Okay. Yes. Now, second one, reaction with phosphorus trihalides. We have done this also for the preparation of alkyl halides. Reaction with what? Phosphorus trihalides or PX3. So what do I get now? ROH. Can you tell the reaction? What do I get? RX, right? Plus H3PO3. Balance this reaction. Done? Yes. Now, third reaction is dehydration reaction. Right? So dehydration means what? Removal of water. This is what alcohol I'm taking, HOH. Removal of water, H from one carbon, OH from one carbon. Reagents, I'll tell you. So what do you get here? Alkene. Right? Plus
Alkene,
water.
yes.
Dehydration. I'm taking out water. Alkene I'll get. So what are the dehydrating agents we can use? First one, we can use concentrated sulfuric acid. Yes, beautiful, very good dehydrating agent. Or we can use concentrated H3PO4. Or catalyst such as what? We can use a catalyst such as, yes, anhydrous zinc chloride. Anhydrous means without water, right? We are taking out the water. Zinc chloride or alumina also I can use. Alumina is Al2O3. Okay, these three are what? Dehydrating agents. I can use any of them to dehydrate. After dehydration, I'll get what? Alkene. Okay, so I'm first taking
Yes.
primary. This is primary. So what is the temperature required here? It is 443 Kelvin. So what do I get? Alkene, ethene plus water. Now, when I take secondary, this is secondary, right?
Yes.
So here less drastic conditions, only 85% is not enough. 85% of what? Phosphoric acid, H3PO4, same temperature, 440 Kelvin, almost same. So what do you get here? Propene. H from here, OH from here, plus water. So here only 85%. That means secondary is more reactive. I show you the reactions also. Mechanism.
Yes.
So here even less drastic conditions, only 20% enough for the reaction to occur. That means, which means what? Tertiary or more reactive.
Tertiary.
What do you get? OH from here, H from here. I'll show you the mechanism, then you'll understand it better. Done. So what did you infer? Tertiary alcohols are more reactive than secondary than primary. If you write the mechanism, you'll know why tertiary is more reactive than secondary than primary. This is what? Order of reactivity of alcohols towards dehydration or towards concentrated sulfuric acid or whatever. Order of reactivity of alcohols.
Yes.
Now, We'll read the I'll show you the mechanism now. See, mechanism involves 3 steps again. The first step. So in step 1, what will happen? Formation of protonated alcohol. I'm taking ethyl alcohol. Protonated alcohol. That means where does this proton go now? Here, or onto this oxygen. So what do I get? CH3, CH2, OH2 plus. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, this is what? Fast reaction and reversible. Now, second one, formation of carbocation. In step 2, what is happening? Carbocation is being formed. How this carbocation is being formed? Okay, I'll C H. So, right, minus water. This is a slow step of the reaction. So it is what? Rate determining step of the reaction. Slow step is always the rate determining step of the reaction. So CH3, CH2 plus. What is this? Carbocation intermediate. So this is proceeding through what? Carbocation intermediate. So this is a slow step of the reaction. So which means that the rate of the reaction now is dependent on the what? Stability of the carbocation. The more stable the carbocation formed, the more reactive it will be. Right? The more easily it can form. This is what? Primary carbocation. Now next step what? CH3. Okay.
CH2 plus. CH2 plus.
H. This is plus. Alkane is what?
Ethene.
Ethene. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
So what is happening here? Carbocation intermediate is formed. So you know that tertiary carbocation is more stable than secondary, which is more stable than primary. So based on the stability of the carbocation, the reactivity of the alcohols is dependent upon. So if it is formed with ease, that means tertiary carbocation can be formed with ease, because I told you why tertiary carbocation is more stable, because the positive charge on this is stabilized by 3 electron donating groups here. In secondary, only 2. In primary, only 1. So this will be formed more easily because it is more stable. That is why tertiary alcohols are more reactive than secondary than primary. This is the reason. So if you understand the mechanism, you can predict.
Yes,
right? Because it is proceeding through what? Carbocation intermediate. Tertiary are more reactive than secondary than primary. And when ethene is formed here, as and when it is formed, it is removed so that the equilibrium shifts towards the right hand side, so that more of ethene can be obtained. Right?
Yes.
Next. Oxidation. Yes. So this oxidation here, I'm taking alcohol. Here, 2 cleavages are taking place and a new bond formation is taking place. This is being formed. What is happening? CH bond, OH bond is being broken. That means hydrogen is removed.
Dehydrogenate.
One more bond is formed in between C and oxygen. C and O. That means C double bond O. This type of reaction where 2 bonds are getting cleaved and one new bond is being formed is called as oxidation reaction. This is also called as dehydrogenation because hydrogen is being lost. Addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen is nothing but oxidation. Anything is oxidation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what? Dehydrogenation reaction. Two bonds being broken, one new bond being formed, resulting in the formation of what? C double bond. H is lost. Alcohols are getting reduced to aldehydes or ketones, carbonyl compounds.
Yes.
Right? Now, I'm taking primary alcohols. What is this? Primary. On oxidation will give you what? Aldehyde. What is this? Aldehyde. This on further oxidation will give you acid. Okay, so this is what? Carboxylic acid. This is what? Primary alcohols.
Okay.
Now,
Primary
if I
alcohols
want,
primary alcohol gives aldehyde, aldehyde gives carbon.
Secondary alcohols gives ketones.
Okay.
Now, if I use the strong oxidizing agent like KMnO4, it will not stop at the aldehyde stage. It will directly give the acid. What? Strong oxidizing agent like what? Acidified potassium permanganate. If I'm using it, very strong reducing agent. So it will directly give the acid. If I want the aldehyde to be isolated, what should I use? A different oxidizing agent. So there are two types I can use. One is CrO3 I can use. What is CrO3?
CrO3. Alcohol, carboxylic acid. Acidified potassium permanganate.
This is acidified potassium. I can use CrO3 if I want to isolate what? Aldehydes. Right? What is this? Chromium oxide or chromium trioxide. So if I want to isolate aldehyde, I should add what? Chromium trioxide, not acidified potassium permanganate. If I add acidified potassium permanganate, I'll get carboxylic acid. If I want aldehyde, I should use CrO3. But if you want in very good yields, the yield is not very good in this case. I should use a different reagent called as PCC. What is this PCC? This is a complex of chromium trioxide plus pyridine and HCl. So this is a complex of all these, and this is called as pyridinium chlorochromate, full form.
Okay.
Pyridinium, because the yields obtained is very good. That is why we are using what? PCC. Pyridinium chlorochromate.
In oxidation reaction, we are using KMnO4 to get aldehyde.
No, acid. See, I showed you the reaction. If I want to stop the reaction at aldehyde stage, I can use CrO3 or PCC. But with PCC, we'll get very good yields.
Okay.
That is why I prefer what? PCC.
Okay.
Done. Now, if I'm using secondary alcohols, what? This is with primary alcohols.
Okay.
Secondary. Secondary alcohols will give you what? Ketone. So what is the reagent here? Again, chromium trioxide, or I can use PCC also. Whatever. What am I getting here? Ketone. With secondary alcohols, what am I getting? Ketone. Suppose, yes. If I'm using tertiary, can you predict?
They don't undergo oxidation reaction.
Why?
Because of that temperature and...
No. See, what is happening here? This hydrogen, that means alpha hydrogen must be present for the dehydrogenation reaction to occur. This H should be there, alpha hydrogen. This H and this OH is lost. But here, is there any alpha hydrogen here? No alpha hydrogen, so no oxidation reaction. Where will this H will it take from? This H is okay. So where is another H for dehydrogenation and the formation of the double bond here? Got it? So this H, that means alpha hydrogen is not there. Because of what? Absence of alpha hydrogens.
Okay.
No oxidation reaction because of absence of alpha hydrogens. Right. So what can you infer? Tertiary alcohols do not undergo oxidation reactions. Okay, because of the absence of what? Alpha hydrogens. Right.
Okay, ma'am.
And what you said is, if I use high temperatures, elevated temperatures, what will happen with acidified KMnO4? See, if it is a longer alkyl group present, this will break and different carboxylic acids are formed. Mixture of carboxylic acids I'll get.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Now, this vapors of this alcohol are passed through heated copper. Copper heated to 573 Kelvin. The same type of reaction will occur. I'll give you what? Aldehyde. Primary alcohols will give you aldehyde. Secondary alcohols will give you what? Ketones.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Copper at what? 573 Kelvin. But if I'm taking tertiary, what reaction will occur with tertiary?
Dehydration.
Yeah, dehydration. Okay. But I go CH3, I am elaborating this. This OH and this H1 is lost. So what do you get? A double bond. Alkene we are getting.
Alkene.
This is alkene. Got it? So this OH, hydrogen from this carbon, not alpha carbon, beta carbon. What are we getting? Dehydration product, that is alkene we are getting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, done. Now, see, for the alcoholics, the alcohol which is consumed for drinking purposes is ethanol, right? What is it? Ethanol, C2H5OH. And sometimes it is also mixed with methanol
Methanol.
by mistake. So this is called as what? Denatured alcohol. What it is called? Denatured alcohol, which is not fit for drinking. We should not drink this because this methanol, if it is undergoing oxidation with the help of the enzymes which are present in our body. So what will it oxidize to? Aldehyde. Which aldehyde? Formaldehyde. Then further oxidized to formic acid. So this formic acid is very, very dangerous. This formic acid is the result of death and also sometimes blindness. If not death also, it can cause blindness also. So dangerous. So that is why the denatured alcohol or which is contaminated with methanol is not fit for drinking.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. It is what? Dangerous. So what is given if the patient is poisoned with this alcohol is given intravenous injections of what? Intravenously infusions of diluted ethanol. So what is happening with
after formaldehyde, what will get, ma'am? No, ma'am. Ethanol plus methanol, I get denatured alcohol, which is then I'll get formaldehyde. Then next, what I'll get, ma'am?
So why? Because why this is denatured? Why it's not fit for drinking means if we drink it, what is happening? This alcohol is oxidized to aldehyde. Which aldehyde? Formaldehyde. Now this is further oxidized to formic acid.
Formic acid.
This formic acid is not good for health. It is dangerous actually. So if the person is poisoned with this methanol, he is given intravenous infusions of diluted ethanol. What does this do? Now the enzymes which are acting upon on this formaldehyde will act upon this ethanol here and thereby giving the time for the body to excrete this formaldehyde or methanol, whatever percentage, whatever the rest is present in our body, it will allow the kidneys to excrete this. Because the enzyme will now further act on this ethanol. We are giving this intravenously, right?
Yes.
So swamped. Actually, what is that? It's swamped.
Okay.
Okay, the enzyme responsible for oxidation of aldehyde to acid is swamped, allowing the time for the kidneys to excrete this methanol. right?
Okay.
It will not allow the reaction to proceed further. Done. So now next one. Okay, time is left. Okay, I'll give you the introduction and then I'll end the class.
Okay.
Next one. Reactions of what? Phenols. Now we have done with the reactions of alcohols, CO bond cleavage and OH bond cleavage. Now phenols. See, phenols is what? This is phenols, right? This lone pair of electrons which are present in the oxygen is involved in resonance. I showed you the resonance structures also, right? Now, what are these OH groups now? Electron donating groups. Electron donating groups into the ring. So what I said, see, benzene actually it undergoes what type of reactions? Electrophilic substitution reactions. Because it's electron rich. So for E plus to come and attack this electron, benzene ring easily because so many electrons in this, pi electrons are there, rich of electrons. E plus can attack easily on this ring. Now, if I'm introducing this OH group on this benzene ring, now I'm still more increasing the electron density on the ring because OH is electron donating group. It is pumping the electrons into the ring. That means it's still more active towards what? Electrophilic substitution reactions. Right? So these are what called as now, OH group is called as what? Ring activators. Because they're activating the ring towards what? Electrophilic substitution reactions. Ring activators towards what? Electrophilic substitution reactions. Because now they can undergo these electrophilic substitution reactions more easily than that of the benzene ring. If it is electron withdrawing groups like NO2, what will happen? They are deactivators. They will deactivating the ring towards electrophilic substitution reaction. All ring activators are what? Orthopara directors. I showed you the resonance structures. So where is the negative charge? If the resonance structures, if you observe, the negative charge will be at ortho and para positions. Ortho, para. So it is easy for the electrophile to come and attack on ortho and para positions. That is why they are what? Ortho-para directors. So OH or for that matter, electron donating groups are what? Ring activators, and they are ortho-para directing groups. Any ring, electron withdrawing groups are ring deactivators. And they are meta-directors. Except for chlorobenzene. We discussed this. It is, even though it is ring deactivator, except for this, it is orthopara directing group. Activator. Yes. Understood? Do you remember? This is what? Orthopara. These three things you remember. 1, 2, 3. All ring activators are orthopara directing groups. All ring deactivators are meta directing groups, except for chlorobenzene. Even though chloro is ring deactivator, it is orthopara directing. Done? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. I think we can do the, now this will undergo this common electrophilic substitution reactions like that of benzene. The same reactions, nitration, halogenation, Friedel-Crafts reactions. I'll show you. Okay. Yes, next class.
Okay.
Yeah. Shall we end class for today, ma? Yeah, bye.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'll send you the
bye.
Bye.
Yes, ma'am. Send it in normal.
Yeah, I'll send it.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, bye.